Today I thought I'd like to answer two questions by Johnny Pay, who wants to know what my PRs are in the squat, the bench press and the deadlift, that is the big three. And he also wants to know my tips for becoming strong. Now, I'm no competitive powerlifter. In fact, I don't even train for strength. But my strength is well above the average gym goers, and I take a lot of interest in strength training. So I do feel as if this is a domain in which I can give advice. Of course, if you take issue with any of the advice I'm about to give, feel free to voice your concerns in the comment section below. In terms of my PRs, well, I posted a workout video like a week or two ago where I did a sumo deadlift with 145 kilos for 10 reps without a belt. So I suppose for a 1 rep max, 200 kilos, something north of 200 kilos with a belt is not out of the question. Bench press, yeah, something north of 100 kilos probably. And squat, probably something above 140 kilos with a belt, to depth, of course, the only way to squat. And of course I'll be posting some more workout videos soon, so you'll be able to see me in action. Now, onto the meat and potatoes of this video, my tips for getting strong. I'm first going to discuss training strategies for becoming stronger, specifically in terms of getting stronger at the big three, the squat, the bench and the deadlift. And second, I'm going to be talking about nutritional strategies to become stronger. Training. Far and beyond, the most important factor when it comes to getting stronger is adherence. Okay, if you don't show up and train on a consistent basis, you will not improve no matter how good your training program is. Now, how can you be more adherent? Well, the first thing is to use a training program that you enjoy. The second thing I would say is to use good form. If you don't use good form, it is true that you can push around heavier weights, but you're also likelier to get injured. And when you get injured, you have to take time off. When you're taking time off, somebody else who's using good form, progressing on a consistent basis with little micro increments, is going to surpass you. So always use good form. Another thing you can implement to make your training safer, and this is also something that will help you become stronger, period, is to train with repetitions in reserve. By that, I mean you shouldn't take every single set you perform to complete and utter failure. You should leave maybe 3 reps in the tank, 2 reps in the tank, and perhaps even on rare occasions 1 rep in the tank. If you train to failure, you're not reinforcing the correct motor unit recruitment patterns because you're not practicing the lift properly, because you're having like technique breakdown. If you're bench pressing with like a really crooked I don't know, shoulder position or whatever, because you're trying to grind out just 1 more rep, you're teaching your body to bench press improperly. So keep some reps in reserve. Now, the second most important training variable, or I guess variables, I'm going to group a few things together, are intensity, that is how heavy you lift, your total work done, so I suppose that's sets times reps times weight, and the frequency at which you practice the lifts or at which you train. So when you train, we'll start with intensity. When you train for strength in the big three, say you want to have a super strong 1 rep max on the squat, the bench press and the deadlift, your training should predominantly be with heavy weights, say in mostly the 3 to 5 rep range and sometimes as high as 8. And of course you can go lighter on assistance exercises. Now, as for the total work variable, I'm sorry that I can't give a one-size-fits-all answer, but you really have to find the sweet spot for you. You have to do enough work that you're forcing your body to adapt to the demands you place on it, but not so much work that you're overtraining. If you overtrain, you don't progress, or you may even get injured, so try not to overtrain. Now, frequency. Ideally, you train these main lifts at least once per week. Fewer than 1 time per week on each of these lifts probably means that you're not giving enough repeated bouts of practice to really learn the form. In other words, your body will kind of forget how to perform the lift if you don't train them frequently enough. 2 sessions on the main lift is preferable to 1, with say a heavy session for intensity and a light session for volume. Now, the third most important training variable is specificity. That is, everything you do in the gym should be specific to the goal of becoming stronger at whatever it is you wish to become stronger at. So everything, say you're wanting to become strong at the big 3, the squat, the bench and the deadlift, everything you do other than the squat, the bench and the deadlift should either directly, through carryover, or indirectly, say through injury prevention, improve your performance at those big 3 lifts. Using the bench press as an example, exercises other than the bench press that carry over to bench press strength would be like the incline bench press, the close grip bench press, the flat dumbbell press, the overhead press, dips. Exercises that probably wouldn't have carryover to the bench press are box jumps. You probably don't want to be doing box jumps as a powerlifter anyway. Now, exercises that could prevent injury if you're a powerlifter training for bench press strength would be like band pull-aparts, face pulls, curls, rows, pull-ups, lat pull-downs, etc. This should also be specific to the athlete. So say you're weak at the lockout on bench press, you may want to try out exercises that improve your lockout strength. So triceps isolation exercises, or bench pressing with chains. Now, another pitfall is too much specificity. So if you follow a minimalist program where all you do in the gym is bench press, squat and deadlift, either you will get injured or your body will stop adapting to the imposed demands. Why? Because you're not doing anything novel. You're not doing anything to break up the monotony, and your body's not really given a reason to kind of kick the strength gains into high gear. So, too much specificity, you're not imposing any novel demands on your body, so it won't have a reason to adapt. As well as that, you're overusing certain movements, you're causing wear and tear damage, and that can get you injured. On the other hand, too little specificity, and your body doesn't have a reason to get stronger at the exercises you wish to become stronger at. A good powerlifting program would have assistance exercises as well as a lot of the big 3 itself. So in addition to lots of squatting, bench pressing and deadlifting, say with the deadlift, you would also perform stiff-legged deadlift, good mornings, 45-degree back extensions. With the squat, you'd be performing front squat, you'd be performing leg press, hack squats, low bar squats, high bar squats, pause squats, and I've already discussed some of them with the bench press. Now, other training variables of lesser importance that you may still wish to consider are rest intervals. With rest intervals, I would say just rest as long as you feel like, but within reason, right? Like you don't want to rest fewer than 30 seconds between sets. Likewise, might not be a good idea to rest longer than 5 minutes between sets. I'm sure, you know, you have a life outside of the gym. You've got a family that loves you very much. That would be a little sad if you spent your whole life in the gym. And the other thing is tempo, okay? Look, you can play around with it, but all I would say is lift the weight under control. Bada bing, bada boom, you're set. Okay, nutritional strategies for gaining strength. Now, I have to be clear with what I mean when I talk about gaining strength. You can gain absolute strength and you can gain relative strength. So do you want to be just strong, period? You just want to be a strong guy, that's all you care about, that's absolute strength? Or do you want to be strong for your body weight? Do you want to be the guy who's like really small, but who can throw around a lot of weight? That's relative strength. And in my opinion, relative strength is more important. If, however, you want to go for absolute strength, eat like a pig. Actually, I don't think I'm qualified to give nutritional advice in Australia. It might be against the law. Anyway, look, I'm not an expert, just throwing it out there. I'm not a dietitian, whatever. I think that covers me. I hope. Anyway, if you're after absolute strength, eat like a pig, ingest as many carbs as you can, become really big and fat, and throw around the weight, you big boy, you. When it comes to relative strength, I would say eat in a small calorie surplus, sufficient protein, lots of carbs, enough fat to sustain a healthy hormone profile. In fact, those bits of advice are not dissimilar to the nutritional strategies that bodybuilders use. So a very small surplus if you don't want to gain too much weight, and you can always just cut down your calories a little bit if you feel as if you're getting too heavy or whatever. Okay, that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. More workout videos on the way. Whoa, my accent went really Australian then. Workout videos. I am Australian after all. Now, that's it. Thank you.